everyone, and welcome to the Hammer Down Truck Series, the HTL Truck Series, to be a bit more specific, for the Atlanta 150 here on ABN1, good old in the heart of Atlanta, Georgia, USA. And this is going to be a great race tonight as we're at the new Atlanta, the heavily banked Atlanta, the plate Atlanta. It's going to be quite an interesting show as these drivers get a second helping of super speedway racing here in the opening weeks of the calendar. My name is Kevin Young, and I am joined here in the booth with Carmen, Sienna. And Carmen, what are the drivers looking out here for tonight as we get through the last little bit of warm-up here?
This is going to be a very interesting race tonight. Obviously, we had an amazing race last night, the HTL Cup Series. Now these drivers, some of them did not race last night. Good to try to do it again, replicate it here tonight. We're looking at Peltier Sharp and Cali Height. These two drivers were both near the front of the field at points in last night's Cup Series race. These trucks, though, a little bit more conducive to the pack racing we typically see at Daytona and Talladega. A little bit closer. Keep an eye on those right side tires. They wore a lot last night. Similar compound tires on these trucks. These trucks are a little bit harder on those tires. How much does that handling affect these trucks later on tonight? Again, a smaller race, 98 laps, but it also means less room to make up for mistakes if you make a mistake in the later stages.
And it's going to be quite an interesting race. Because obviously, if you were here last night for the HTL main Cup Series race, it was quite an interesting finish as Bobby Bowers, who's also here tonight, won the race for Patrick Oberstadt by 0.008 thousandths of a second, and what some would instantly describe as an instant classic. So Bobby Blowers came across barely ahead of Patrick Oberstadt. If you can, go watch it in the Twitch replays, or if you are watching this on replay on YouTube, should also probably be up somewhere on the ABN YouTube channel, so make sure you take a look at that finish. It was a great finish as Alyssa Peltier Sharp spins through it, almost lands in her pit box. I think that's actually Patrick Oberstadt's pit box she just spun into. But regardless, it's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out. Speaking of the 83, there is, along with Patrick Oberstadt right there on the surface, as they're getting some last-minute practice in here. A little bit of a pit party coming on out, or, well, what already remained of it, to have some good laps here to see what they can do here with 93 laps. And already one car spun. That was a 60 behind them, so they'll lose a little bit of practice here with just over 2 minutes and some change to go.
35 trucks in the field for tonight's race. So, and they're really not another phenomenal field size. We had 36 trucks, or 36 cars last night. 41 attempted to qualify, 5 went home. But we don't have go or go home qualifying tonight. Up to 40 trucks can take part. We're going to have 35, a decent grid here this evening for a race at Atlanta. And you're seeing teammates work together right now. That's the 83 of Jonathan Adams and the 8 of Patrick Oberstadt. Oberstadt so close to a race win for the first time, but also ended up falling short there, as we have a little bit of conniption fits with the cameras, it looks like, trying to get all of that sorted out. But a lot of fun so far in how this all turns out. A lot of interest in how this race is planning on being.
Yeah. It's going to be always plate racing brings out a lot of drivers here. Or I guess technically as much plate racing as super speedway racing is. We use more of a modern phrase around here. But it brings out a big attendance because usually it's kind of a crapshoot race, but also it's a race where it does take some element of skill. And some drivers really feel like this could be the win that can maybe change the season. Now, obviously, this truck series does not have a win in your playoff system. Obviously, it's a little bit of a bare bones system where it is a point system that leads into a chase, and there's no stage breaks as well for reward points, so wherever you finish at the end of the checker flag is where you end up taking home the points in question of where you finish. So a little bit of an old school style here, but even in the old school days where you may not be in a win-you're-in situation, if you're a driver right now that's currently on the cusp of maybe making the chase or currently in the chase, a win could definitely help that momentum and try to put yourself in a strong fashion. Obviously, John Hager right now, with the run he has been on these last couple weeks, not really needing that momentum per se, but as we ride on board here following the 8, the 83, and the 50 here, all three drivers in regard needing some strong performances here as they've had a bit snake bitten. Jonathan Adams especially so. He's had some strong trucks, but just hasn't been able to finish as he will spin off and hit the wall hard. Reminds me of Steve Park's crash in 2000 Atlanta, I believe it was. And that will take the end of the practice session here as we get the ceremonial last wreck there, just to signify it is over. And now we will head to qualifying. So again, if you are new here, qualifying is a bit different than usually other series. It is a one-lap quali, and the drivers only have 5 minutes to set a time here. So it looks like first driver out on the circuit, it looks like it was a mad scramble. I want to say it's Selena Thompson. She is the first one out of her box. Either her or Lily Frazier could probably split a hair there, decide who is ahead. But both those drivers will be the first two out to take a lap as we get a nice little view of the parking lot here. As you were saying, Carmen, the camera seems to be a little bit finicky here. We'll try to get that iron down here before the race starts. But we'll follow the 8 truck of Stefan Oberstadt here. As he will
get
Patrick Oberstadt, I should say.
So
yep, Carmen will
try to get all that fixed. Just takes us a second to get all that stuff taken care of. And now we should be good.
All right, good. So we'll follow Patrick Oberstadt here. Even though he won't be the first one to cross the line, he will be one of the first few in the pack. So keep an eye on the top of your screen here as times will begin to fall. It's really not much different here, really. You're going to go flat out, kind of go high to the wall, then arc it low. You want to run the corner low. And unlike usually at plate races where we see 2 laps of warm-up, some drivers will say, all right, I want to take the wall first lap, come down, take the bottom of second lap. Other drivers say bottom both times. There's not really much of a different choice here. You have to go the bottom on your one and only lap this at a time and try to make it indicative. So here comes Patrick Oberstadt coming across the line. Well, not across the line yet, coming out of 4. Now coming to the line, I should say. And as he crosses it, he's going to have to beat a 32.32, and he will not do that. It's going to be a 32.41. Going to slot him in P5 comfortably at the moment. But the things can change. He's already now bumped down the P6 for Byron Jones. So now we're going to ride on here with Blake Henderson. We know he's a bit of a plate race specialist. We've seen him in a lot of plate races be very competitive. Remember, it won the opening round of the ABN Admin Box Cup Series just a couple months ago. And he's always a threat at these plate races to bring the thunder and bring the pain and try to make the win. Speaking of, right now, as he riding aboard here, John Hagan actually just jumped up the top of the board. And now we're looking at Blake Henderson. He'll have to beat a 32.28 if he wants to take that 25 truck on the pole position. Comes to 3 and 4 here. Got that thing nice and planted. Through the dog leg, cutting as much as he can, and across the line, it's going to be good enough for 10th. So 10th fastest for Blake Henderson here. And Pacey Wygant now jumps to the top of the board here. And yeah, other cars are continuing to go on here. Can't directly tell who it is because camera got a little bit fuzzy on this end. So if Carmen can let me know.
TA Sharp.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm gonna have to reconnect to the call, the screen here for a second. But Alyssa Sharp doing a lap here. We'll see what she can do.
This is a lap in the books for TA Sharp, and Sharp goes 8th fastest. Stephen Oberstadt coming up next. He's gonna take a deep dive across the trioval there, and it's good enough for 11th fastest for him. Mark Parkhurst up next to start a lap.
Yep, Mark Parkhurst here. Riding board with a 42 truck. Just crossing the line now. He's going to be one of the last drivers put down a time here as we're a little over 1 minute 40 change left here. Obviously, a few more drivers could make a run for the door here. Try to get a time quickly done here. Some names worth noting that have not done a time yet. David Pugh, Jonathan Adams, Dean Clavitt, Michael Saccone, Christopher Pendell, and Scott J. Poznansky all have not put down times yet. So we'll see what they can do. But here comes the 42 coming off the last corner here. Can he put that truck on pole position? Cross the line. And it's going to be good enough for 5th in the number 42 truck. 2 tenths away from pole position. And what's very interesting to note, I guess you could say, is if you look as the timing and scoring bar screams out over on the top here, and we'll actually get a look at it when qualifying happens, the top 4 of Wygant, Blowers, Gaiman, and Hagan all relatively set a 30.2.28. And there's the unofficial results right there, just to kind of prove it. Very, very close between the top 3 there. And John Hagan a little bit 4th here, even though it looks like the BAPs are a little bit bigger than what they show in qualifying. But still, relatively, that is to scroll through what our starting order will presumably be, as no more drivers have made an attempt to go out into the track here.
Again, 29 trucks have run qualifying lap times here at Atlanta. Leaves 7 drivers, I do believe, out of the running 6 drivers, excuse me, out
yes.
Without a time. Chris Pendell, Scott Poznansky, Michael Saccone, Dean Clavitt, Jonathan Adams, and David Pugh will round the back of this large truck field here at Atlanta for 98 laps coming up here very shortly.
Yes. It will be coming shortly. And actually, qualifying has just officially concluded. So we are now going to get ready for the race here as the trucks will spawn out onto the surface here. Some nice little
Alrighty.
shots of the tower here.
Yep, as everyone begins to get themselves ready to go on track here. Let's pull up the starting grid in full. We'll start with
we will
Pacey
run that through
Wygen
now.
and Bobby Blowers on the front row. Bobby Blowers won last night's race.
Yes, he did. He won last night's race, and he won it in a very, very close fashion, looking to try to make it 2 in a row. Not many drivers have done that so far in HTL. Actually, I don't think no driver has done that so far in the trucks and the Cup. So looking to become the first, starting on the front row tonight. Moving down through the grid here, we got in the next position, Josh Gaiman and John Hagen, 3 and 4. John Hagen coming off great momentum the past couple weeks, looking to keep it going and try to make it 3 in a row. Moving on to the third row, we got Mark Parkhurst and Angel Santiago. Both drivers looking to get a good bounce back after last week. Row number 4, Callie Height and Casey Ellis. I know one person already rooting for Callie Height in the chat, looking to try to get that car to victory lane. Row 5, finishing up the first 5 rows here, Zach McBride and Alyssa Pelletier Sharp making up the 5th row of the grid. Now we'll run through the rest of the order here with Joel Rodriguez and Stefan Oberstadt in row number 6, Selena Thompson and Kevin Feemster in row 7, Austin Mongold and Byron Jones in row number 8, Blake Henderson and Lily Frazier in row 9, Patrick Oberstadt and James Wright making up row 10, John Smeal and Alfred Denny making up row 11, Richard Gonzalez and Ryan Pennell making up row 12, Caleb Carter and Richard O'Day making up row 15, Caleb Eichler and Tristan Bayer and Caleb Eichler making up row 14, Greg Pillar and Dean Clavitt making up row 15. That will take us to 30 positions. We got a little bit more here. Scott Poznansky and Michael Saccone making up row 16. Jonathan Adams and Christopher Pendell making up row 17. 2 trucks and not set times with some strong trucks. And David Pugh will round out the field in row 18th, starting P35. So that is the starting grid here tonight. 98 laps will head. These drivers will take a quick look at the current conditions. Temperature is 78 degrees Fahrenheit, humidity of 1 degree with winds of north for 2 miles an hour and partly cloudy. Similar to all the previous weeks we've been here, it has been a picture perfect day. Track just the right condition, not too hot, not too cold, not too much wind. Should be a perfect environment to run these trucks here. Probably a little bit better than the current Atlanta, which is probably a bit colder currently in middle of November, close to the holidays. So the trucks will take one more lap of warm-up here before we get going, as is tradition. This is a good chance here to kind of just let them get a feel, calm the nerves. It's a long race, and you can't win it on the first lap. So these drivers are going to be thinking that in the back of their heads and knowing how to plan forward and trying to get that truck into victory lane.
It's going to be very interesting seeing how this race evolves here tonight. Wygen and Blowers. Obviously, Blowers, we talked about winning the race last night. Wygen, one of the drivers with the most laps led in that race. Unfortunately, ended up not getting to the end of the race unscathed, ended up being taken out in the last lap crash. But looking to redeem that, you also look at the second row. Gaiman and Hagen, they are traditionally very unlucky on these plate races. What can they do at the front of the field from the start? There's going to be a lot of shuffling around this field. These first 10 laps will be a pretty good indicator as to how this race will pack out for us here tonight. Again, 35 trucks. We saw last night a lot of give was needed to make this race work. How many of these drivers are willing to give early to make it to the end late?
Again, give and take, that's all that matters. And obviously opening laps, we'll see a lot more give than we'll see when there's 5 laps to go. And that's when the chaos is on. We saw at Daytona. These drivers can, for the first opening laps, can keep it clean, keep it competitive, keep it fast. And then as when give and take kind of went, drivers started becoming a bit more aggressive and a bit more not willing to lift and make that work. So that's how this is going to change here in effective, and we'll see how it all plays out here. As it's, again, me, Kevin Young, Carmen, Sienna in the booth, and we are going to get ready for the Hampton Truck Series Atlanta 150 as the pace truck is going to pull off here. Green flag is out, and we are underway for the Atlanta 150 here at, well, Atlanta. As cars begin to fan out here, find positions. Pacey Wygent got a good launch off of one there. Gonna hold that bottom. We'll get a nice little go for Cam here as trucks go by. And as they come off of 3 and 4, Wygent's clear both lanes, and he will take lap number 1. He will lead the first one with Blowers, Gaiman, Hagen, Parkhurst. The first 5 here, similar to what we saw on qualifying pretty much. Now it's the, well, the trips are down, I guess you could say, and we're going to see how this all plays out here.
We know
when
showing some effectiveness early, but again, tire wears going to be very important to manage in this race.
Ooh, one truck already making a big move to the outside. It was the 3 a height, not being comfortable on that low line, jumped up to the high line quickly there. Got a little squirrely a little bit, but kept it planted, and she will keep it on that high line there and try to make a move happen. Now, we saw from Atlanta in the Cup Series, we saw last night in Atlanta HTL Truck Series, we've seen it, HTL Cup Series, I should say. We've seen it throughout a lot of these seasons so far at Atlanta, and it's a bit of an odd circuit here because it's a little bit narrower, not as spaced out here, so you're not going to usually see 3 lanes form as often unless it's really push comes to shove time. And because of how the momentum kind of works, that outside line is really the kind of preferred line to a bit. The inside line's a bit of a passing lane, a holding lane, if you will, while that outside line's kind of the, all right, move and then get down, move and then get down kind of situation. So it's interesting to see with all the downforce and the effects how they'll race here tonight, but it runs a bit differently than usually other plate races we're used to seeing at the Daytonas and the Talladegas and even the iRacing Super Speedways. But as we're coming to lap 5 here, lap going to be led by Blowers, so Blowers is going to lead that lap officially on the outside line with John Hagen rocking a Mountain Dew scheme with some National Guard schemes on it as well, but running a bright green scheme. Don't usually see that out of the 81. I'm going to try to give that truck some good luck here. Oh, John Hagen, big move to the inside. And he is ready to try to go to the front here. Stuck behind Blowers. Thank Blowers for the good push to the front here. And now he's going to take the lead, and he's going to lead this lap over Pacey Wygent. You can see on the wide shot there, trucks 2x2 by 2x2. No real reprieve here. So almost everyone is in this little pack here. And one truck in the bit of the sucker hole there for a second. It's that blue truck there, but he'll get back down low and will avoid being lose out any more spots.
One thing you kind of keep in mind, again, a lot of the familiar faces at the front of the field tonight: Wygent, Blowers, Santiago, Hagen. All 4 of them were in the top 5 last night at points for a significant period of time at points. In the case of obviously Blowers and Wygent and Santiago, John Hagen looked victory right in the face and somehow grabbed defeat out of it, ended up getting disqualified coming to the checkered flag last night. So he was very dejected in how the race turned out for him, trying to right the wrongs just like he did last time out of Charlotte. Charlotte did not go well for me either, but he somehow turned into a rebound in the Truck Series last week. We'll have to do so again tonight to make anything make sense from this week in Atlanta, because next week it's going to be a very wild week. So Hagen's got to capitalize on what he's learned over the last 24 hours to make things stand out here. Blauer still leads the way with Wygent on the outside lane with help, I believe, that is from the 23 Santiago that's moved to the outside lane, that blue truck.
Yep, that is Santiago. Okay, we know he's got in that Pepsi-esque machine there, the blue and the yellow. We've seen that scheme run, not that scheme speakingly, but we've seen that kind of palette run by both Ryan Pennell and Michael Saccone with slight variations on where the orange and the blue was. So very popular color, you could say, is that orange and blue, as he's running a Pepsi Mango scheme, it seems, up at the front. But you are correct, though, that after this week, it's going to be a very hectic schedule as they are going to Pocono next week, which is a bit of a different situation than what we're currently at right now, as Parker's got just a tad loose there, but we'll keep it nice in line as the truck behind there will respectfully leave some space and not allow 28 McBride not run him over there. So 10 laps are... Oh, go ahead.
No, so obviously we're 10 laps in. The issue is that, like, so obviously a lot of the drivers have been able to kind of learn and grow this week. Obviously, well, we've been to Charlotte back-to-back nights. So obviously Atlanta this week, back-to-back nights. Next week there's no synergy. It's Le Mans for the Cup Series on Monday. and then Pocono in the trucks. And not only are there's obviously two completely wildly different tracks, but the skill set is something we've not seen these drivers need to use so far this season. So it is a very, very interesting dichotomy that's really about to shift into, obviously, with the playoffs sitting ready to begin for the HTL Cup Series, and drivers trying to get themselves into the chase here in the Truck Series. It is crunch time as we approach December.
Yeah, I know at the very least, though, you are going to get your virtual frequent flyer miles there, going from the Maz all the way to Pocono.
Yeah.
You know, a long, long virtual flight, but very scenic places for both of them as well. One in the middle of France, the other one obviously in the hills of the Pennsylvanias. But regardless, though, we see as this race continues on here, Blauer still leading the way at the moment here. And it's been kind of a charge for us up front. One truck takes the lead, another one gets pushed forward, and then either jumps down low or stays the lane and loses momentum. Oh, truck got a little loose in the middle there. You're going to see right there in the sucker hole there was the 31 of Alyssa Pelletier-Sharp. Got just a little sideways there, and she keeps it saved. That almost smelled disaster, and it didn't even affect the drivers. Even though she was sideways, it looked like we were smelling caution, and yet she keeps it planted, she keeps it forward, and we keep going on here with no issues.
Well, the thing is, these trucks are a lot easier to save. Again, lower horsepower trucks here on track tonight compared to what we saw last night in the HTL Cup Series. But also, you know, you look at what the situation that these trucks are in right now. It's hard to just get out of the throttle when you're in that situation. You just gonna have to, especially if you're on the outside lane behind Pelletier-Sharp, it's easy to just press the throttle down and just keep going, and whatever happens, happens.
Sorry to cut you off. Jonathan Adams has spun on the backstretch here, and the bad luck will continue here as he is smoking a treat. So that truck is heavily damaged at the very least here. Saw him on the map there, stopped, and I think he got, kind of going back to see, it looks like it may have been a net code situation. So from bad to worse for the 83 truck, you'll actually maybe see him here on the inside.
You see
just
the smoke
getting
at
around
least.
pit lane. Yeah. That engine is pretty much gone, and it is going to be curtains for the 83, and it stinks because he's had some strong trucks here week in and week out, and there you see him on the inside line right there. It has just been not going great for him, and it hurts when you're snake bitten like that. You feel like you can get out there and win. He's put great qualifying runs out together, but has not been able to finish strong, and even here today, started in the back, try to avoid the chaos, and ends up being possibly the first casualty here tonight at the very least. We'll see, though, how it all plays out at the very least.
When it rains, it pours, unfortunately for Jonathan Adams. And, you know, from the highs being a Charlotte a week ago, obviously it kind of just speaks to how different this track has become. Nowhere even close to what Charlotte was or what Atlanta was before.
Well, I'm guessing the trucks have faster pairs as he is now out, so he'll now be one down, but at the very least, he will still continue. So at the very least, though, it's not race over, though. So at least on the bright side, he's got at least a chance here to make something happen, but now one down. He's going to need some chaos or some cautions to try to get back in this thing.
Almost 2 laps down. He's not too far away from it at this point in time. Blowers and Hagen continue to lead the way over Gaiman, Wygent, and Mark Parkhurst.
Ooh, yeah, another little loosey-goosey moment there in that front pack. So the 23 just get a tad loose there. Ooh, another truck getting a little loose. It's almost fun to watch it, but as the tires begin to wear, even though the trucks are easy to save, when you put a lot of wear on the tires, it's going to be harder and harder to try to pull it out of a mistake like that. So these trucks are definitely going to have to be conservative on their tires, and if they start burning them, these moments we're watching right now where these trucks are able to pull out of it or avoid chaos, especially when you have a late race situation where trucks aren't going to lift, it's a bit of a recipe for disaster at the very least.
We're on board with the hometown driver. There's 2 of them in this race. One of them did not have a phenomenal time last time out. Last night was not a great time for Blake Henderson, but riding on board with him now, he sits currently in the 24th position as the outside lane currently has Chris Pindell riding up the road there. It's actually both of the Atlanta, Georgia drivers nose to tail. It's right in front of him is Ryan Pinnell from Goodhorp, Georgia. Technically Ryan Pinnell technically now in Michigan, but still calls Atlanta, Georgia home. Right now sitting in the number 18 truck. There's David Pugh, that 60 truck on the outside lane off to the right. Anderson just staying to the left. Just minding P's and Q's at the moment, trying to use what worked for Patrick Overstat to get to the front of the field later on in this race. We're already 20 laps through, 21 laps underway now. Out of 98 again. Very quick chance of a race here.
Oh yeah, it's not that big of a track here. Again, usually when you're at Talladega Daytona, laps are around a minute, just under a minute. You can say 50 seconds, give or take, some in direction depending on factors, among other things. But laps are very short. But here, with it being a very short track here, a 1.5 mile oval in comparison to well over 2 miles, 2.5 miles from Daytona to Talladega, it shows that a lap's gonna be quicker, and especially at the high speeds, if things stay clean and things stay green, we could easily be in for a quick night here. But again, that's up to the drivers to decide. So we're riding aboard here with Caleb Carter, currently 23rd here in the meat and the potatoes of this. Just riding on board here, just showing you how he's got to be conservative and patient. Just trying to make sure he doesn't really run into someone here, doesn't really make a mistake. Just keep that truck planted and things will come, as obviously pit stops are on the horizon here. You don't want to put yourself in a spot where you may be stuck on the outside, hand out the window, and you can't get down.
Yeah, it's a very important thing right now. We've been green for 23 laps so far. Pit stops will be coming. They are not too far away here. There's at least 2 pit stops in this race with how things are set up here.
Look at the top right there. You saw that 48 truck in the wall there. Byron Jones had a good week last week. Had a chance to get it. Actually was having a good week last week until the last couple of laps. And also had a good run at the previous week at Milwaukee Mile. And right now he hits the wall. He'll avoid everyone though, but he'll fall out. But at least latch on and stay in the draft. So he'll lose time and probably have a little damage, but at the very least, he's still at least in this pack here and not going to allow him to drive away here.
If you got a chance, if you're on track right now, you have a chance. This is how pack racing typically is, but so far very impressive. Once again, picking up right where the Cup Series left off in terms of just the quality of racing being sky high at the moment. It's Blauer still leading the way. He's led just about every lap in this race. Obviously, they did a lot of early lead changes in the first couple laps, but Blowers has been pretty well firmly in control here. Hagen staying right there with him. Wygant still working the outside lane with Santiago behind him. And then you have Parkers in the 42 and Casey Ellis in the 35 in tow as well, making up the top 7. McBride, Callie Height, and Austin Mongold round out the top 10. As we finish the first 25 laps of this race, quarter way through. Here's where we're at so far with 73 laps to go. 6 lead changes in this race so far. But importantly, 0 caution so far. This could be a very, very quick race if things keep going the way they have been. Wygant making some inroads there on Blowers and Hagen. But the 23 of Santiago couldn't follow through on the corner through 3 and 4. And you're going to see that become a lot more difficult for that outside lane, like what we saw last night. A lot more difficult.
Outside line's definitely going to be a lot more difficult as the tires begin to wear. 51 on the apron there. Saw it sideways for half a second there. Going to lose bump. Yeah, it's going to lose bumper to Hagen here. So Gaiman's going to leave a hole open if some truck would like to go down here. But the hole should close up quite quickly here. So not much to think. But looking at the thing, I think we already see a truck possibly pitting in this time by. I think it's going to be the 45 of Eichler here, or at least Eichler's pitting. But he's a little bit further back. He's way off the pace, so it is not going to be really indicative of what we're seeing here up front. But yeah, they're getting racy here, and I'm only shocked. It's been 6 late changes, but you're looking at the drivers that have led so far at least a lap. Most of them are currently up here. We're currently watching Blowers, Hagen, Wygant have led a majority of this thing. Those 3 have kind of changed it out in slight variations. So when one truck takes the lead, usually another one follows suit, wins it back. Right now, again, Bobby Blowers picking up where he left off yesterday, trying to make a back-to-back happen here. Lead another lap here as we're 1 short of 30, but Wygant going to charge hard on the outside here.
Yeah, Wygant was very fond of that outside lane last night. Very fond of it again here tonight. Santiago also is pretty fond of that outside lane, so some familiarity between those two on the outside lane. Hagen was also in the outside lane a decent amount last night, but has not been able to really make anything of it. It just stayed to the back of Blowers, who ended up winning last night's race, and not a bad person to stick behind. Blowers just typically does well. He raised his hand last night and said this typically isn't a track that he enjoys. He doesn't enjoy this type of racing so awful much, but he's successful at it. and that is sometimes that is the neutralizer right there. If you like a little bit more caution,
spins in the back. We're gonna have to hold that thought there.
Yeah.
Spin in the back. Multiple good trucks involved. I got John Smeal, Kevin Feemster, Blake Henderson all involved here. At the very least, that's going to save the chaos, the green flag pit stops here, but for some good trucks there, as 25 and 33 still stopped on the backstretch there. You can already see a crab walking, but we'll take a look here, and it looks like...
This is just ahead of Henderson, too. This looks like it starts with the 33.
Feemster's on the apron right there. Maybe he tried coming back up, thinking he was clear.
Yeah, we're going to take a look at what happened to Kevin Feemster here, because it looks like he...
Oh, he lost it. I think he lost on his own.
Yeah, we're going to see if we can take a really good look at this, because this is interesting. Now, keep an eye on the 33 truck, who is center of your screen. I'll have to pull the good old-fashioned highlighter back out here, because you're going to keep an eye on this little battle right here. You're going to keep an eye on this. That's the 33 of Feemster.
I do got some information that may explain what happened here, but we'll let the replay play out here first. You can see that he just runs it high, and then the thing's just going to drift low here. Yep, there it goes low.
That's a very sudden jerk, too.
And I think I can tell you why, as you'll see him then kind of hold it here, and then the truck begins to lose it and drift back up right into John Smeal, and then obviously nowhere for the rest of the pack to go. Mike Saccone, Blake Henderson, Byron Jones, all just kind of just passengers that situation with nowhere to go. And then one truck there sneaks through it as you see the rest of the trucks pit here. Kind of maybe add some clarity to what happened. At the very least, I heard at least through video, voice chat here. I don't know if Feemster runs one, but I heard at least on the terms terminally Oculus failure. So if Feemster is running an Oculus helmet or something for VR support, and that shut off, could have maybe not saw anything, tried to get low, and just couldn't make it happen. But that's at least what I'm hearing, at least for the room mill, from what John Smeal. I know Feemster and Smeal are at least in talking distance. So I'd assume at the very least that could have been the case, but that is just speculation up in the booth. Obviously, if we do hear anything else, we will relay that information. But that, regardless though, Feemster will be involved in the first caution night, and he will also be the first retirement, as he has now officially pulled it behind the wall, and it's going to be day done for the 33 truck. So strong finisher at Daytona, well, strong runner at Daytona for the open season. Going to be a bit of a poor finish here for the 33 truck. So lap 32 here, pit stops just occurred. As we were watching on board, everyone elected to take 4 tires and fuel. Blowers, Hagen, Wygant, Gaiman, Santiago, your top 5, similar to what we saw coming in and out. Most trucks that elected to come in got their damage fixed up here. Blake Henderson will also avoid going 1 down. Jonathan Adams will get one of his laps back, as now was the lucky dog. He will now officially be 1 down. So actually, sorry, 2 down now. He's actually still 2 down. So he went from 3 to 2. But at the very least, though, it's a long road recovery, but usually cautions breed cautions, chaos breeds chaos. And again, Jonathan Adams can avoid it all. He could easily bring himself back in this thing, but we'll have to see how it all plays. So as the field bunches up here, it's going to be Blowers. I'll just make sure I got this right. Blowers and Hagen, Wygant and Gaiman, Parkhurst and Santiago and Parkhurst, Height and Ellis, and Sharp and McBride. Your first 5 rows here. One quick summary here again. Lap 32 and 98. Just over a quarter of the way done here. Oh, 1/4 of the way through. 1 caution lap for 3 caution laps under 1 caution and 6 lead changes. Since the last update, no extra lead changes happened as Blowers was holding it down. Yep, as Carmen brings it up in the point in question, there is 1 fast repair. Some trucks elected to burn it. One driver that didn't elect to burn it was Blake Henderson, as he did have a long in time here. So, again, maybe trying to avoid the chaos here. Thinks he can, another caution will be on the horizon. Maybe not worth burning it. So anyway, pace truck going to come on in. It's going to be on Blowers' control. Green flag is out. And we're back underway here. You can see Blowers will come on down, link up with John Smeal.
Yeah, Hagen there in the 81 truck staying behind. Blowers, a little bit of latency there. We saw that last night from him. in the midway stanza as well. Wygent moved back to the outside lane, but Santiago did not.
Just went back and checked something. We did have a bit of a stack up there on the opening restart, a little bit in the tail end of the pack there, with a few trucks that take evasive action. Luckily, most of them caught back up to the pack here, so other than a little time loss, all trucks really avoid damage, so we luckily could have had a caution there, but again, keep it clean, at least for the moment. Flowers still holds it down with the outside line, though. Not really having the momentum right now at the moment, with Wygent leading the line, but slow charging to try to get that line forward.
Yeah, different people in that outside lane right now. It's Wygent leading, obviously, but then it's Gaiman and Parkhurst, who were on the inside last time. So they a little bit of inversion there, and then obviously Calihite, who was in the outside lane, now to the inside in that 3 truck. Trying to make some inroads right now.
It's an interesting situation because if you're used to running one line for so long, it can sometimes throw you off your feng shui just a tiny bit, to then go from the high side to the low line because you have to change the way you attack a bit, how you hold your line, how you want to be aggressive. So having this opportunity to kind of switch your lines, you're going to have to take a second, like, okay, I can't do what I did in the bottom line because it's effective, but not the optimal strategy. But now I can make it work here, change it up quickly. As Calihite giving some respect to Santiago, not really pushing that 23 truck, but getting as close as she can to that 23 truck's back bumper in order to make sure they don't lose too much speed here. But you can see that outside line finally starting to find that momentum, as Wygent is taking at least a point for a second here as they are side by side. But it just shows you, keep in respect, make sure you get close to the bumper and push when you can push. But as you can see, Callie not willing to really risk pushing too hard here and risk maybe sending the 23 by accident or making a bigger problem than it's worth doing so.
Yeah, we talked about, Calihite's reasonable, is still kind of learning things as far as this group's concerned. She definitely has her wherewithals with her here in terms of just figuring out like where the space of her truck is going to fit in here. She made a lot of really good moves last night here. Probably despite the result not being what she wanted, it was probably her most comprehensive plate race last night. And we're seeing that really continue on here tonight. We're right on board with her right now. Sitting 4th in line right now, giving space to Santiago, and doing a little bit of side drafting there, kind of getting up there in that outside lane a little bit, leaning on that quarter panel with Casey Ellis to try to keep that lane level. So she's doing a little bit of a lot more, I guess, finesse in the plate racing that Calihite's doing right now. Obviously, significant other is Kaylin Height, who a phenomenal driver. We've seen already win 4 times in the Cup Series this season, winningest driver in HTL Cup Series history. So Callie's got an amazing partner to learn from. But in her own right now, Kaylin's not in this race. Callie's on her own doing this and really doing a really fantastic job with that inside lane now with a lot more consistency behind it. Is continuing to make up some ground now.
Yeah. And again, Callie, great partner to have.
And this is that.
Parker's. Oh, they're keeping it in the same direction. Parker's in the wall.
Wow.
Though. They're still pointed all in the right direction.
Caution's out now, but
caution will
wild.
be triggered. Yes.
And that's because they checked up and wrecked behind.
Yeah, we'll explain it.
Yeah, that's
Greg
where
Miller, the one in the wall there at the bottom there in the 39 truck.
It almost worked out, and then it didn't.
Yeah. Everyone checked up. Everyone tried to avoid it. We almost had it good. Obviously, some trucks would have had some major damage, but yeah, you can already see the effects of it a little bit further back of the checkup.
Let's see, we're going to try to get a little bit of a jump up here to kind of figure out where all of this really kind of culminated in the caution, because it got wild here. Obviously,
Yeah.
Parker's did a really good job saving it. Everyone did a really good job scrambling up at the front. But it was almost a pure disaster from the get-go. So we'll see if we can kind of jump backwards here and see where all of this really kind of kicks off. Well, we'll have to go back all the way to Callie Height here and sort of just play this in slow motion, because Callie Height, I don't know if Callie Height moved up or if Parker's moved down here. I guess we'll get a good look here. It could be half of one, half of the other. Oh, Height just kind of bobbles it and goes up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Height kind of just drifting up there. You can see where the lane's supposed to be, and Height just doesn't get it down on that white line.
And then you can see Parker's has it saved and then gets a little tap there. That Gall green truck, I think it's Stefan Oberstadt. And then Parker's hits the wall up. And then you can see also there, Selena Thompson, do a little ping pong with Lily Frazier, sends Frazier into bat, and Selena Thompson's hit the wall hard. And then a secondary checkup's happening here. And that's going to send, keep an eye on that red truck there. He's going to be the one that gets in the inside wall. And you can see puff of smoke, already a few trucks sideways. Selena Thompson comes down right in the Greg Pillar, who then ends up getting bumped up the road here, and then around he will go. So even he had it saved, just too fast, and too many trucks just going too quick there. And at that point, it was just trying to hang on. And for some, they did. For others, they got some good licks there. We'll see if they can get it all fixed up. So Hagen elected, as pit stops just occurred here. Well, for some, 2 cars have elected to stay out at the very least. You're looking at them right in the front row. John Hagen is one, and Scott Poznansky is the other that elected to stay out. Wygant, Blowers, Santiago Gaiman, basically everyone from 3rd on to 11th, all electing to take fuel only / possibly 2 tires, but I think it was a fuel only stop. And then Zach McBride, Alyssa Pelletier Sharp, I believe. No, sorry, Zach McBride on down, all electing to take 4 tires and come on in. So very alternating strategy book here at the very least as the field now gets bunched up to get ready to go again here. But seeing strategy elements already play out as the first 2 trucks going to have very worn rubber in comparison to the trucks that elected to pit there and take 4 tires.
Yeah, this is going to be a very interesting restart. Hagen and Poznansky. It's 81 on the 41. Wygant and Blowers, they've swapped roles a little bit. Blowers to the outside lane, Wygant to the inside. Santiago and Gaiman. Callie Height and Casey Ellis. Austin Mongold and Patrick Oberstadt, top 10. Then is Sharp, McBride, Parker's Pendel, Gonzalez, Bayer, Clavitt, and Steven Oberstadt, top 18. That's all to play for.
Yeah,
that's
a lot to play for.
Point.
Yep, quickly run one more thing down. We have 30 trucks still running on the surface right now. Jonathan Adams, David Pugh, both a lap down. Richard O'Dane, James Wright on the pit lane right now, still fixing up damage. We'll see if they can get the trucks out. But 32 trucks still running. 32 trucks still on the track right at the moment. 30 trucks on the lead lap. And we'll see how the front row takes this restart here as the pace truck pulls off. Green flag is out. We are back underway again here. Great restart from the 81. The 41 did not get going, though. And that's going to open the door. Oh, big move there on the inside line. You see Blowers not wanting to get behind Poznansky and will elect to go low and try to fan out. You see a lot of trucks taking that inside line quickly as the 41 now will jump low to try to stop the bleeding here. So a few trucks are again. Now you can see Wygant going to go high here. Blowers, though, going to stick with the buddy he's worked with so far with Hagen. And will elect to stay low here. Callie Height, big move to the high side here. Going to stop Santiago from going high. And she's going to try to slot in second car on that high line here. But the next lap in the book's going to be back somewhere the previous one. John Hagen will lead this lap. Ooh, Santiago clips the apron there. Trying to keep that thing planted low. Maybe the no tire fuel only strategy really not playing out here as that truck looks a little loosey-goosey as trucks fan out for positions here. Right on the outside begins to go here. Outside line beginning to get going here. Remember, we saw Pacey Wygant was very strong at Daytona. I believe qualified pole position, or at least front row in that 00 truck. Could not turn into a win with late race cautions, but at the very least had a strong 00 and knows how to get these cars to go fast in a plate race. Hagen trying to take 2 lanes there. Will think better of it, stay low here. Allow Wygant to get a little charge here, but still Hagen up front here. At the very least, his next lap by will be officially at halfway.
Yeah, Wygant's gotten to the quarter panel here of Hagen. Blowers to the inside behind Hagen. Height on the outside lane behind Wygant.
what I'm kind of thinking about as we watch this battle up front, I'm kind of thinking about those trucks middle, like maybe around 15th, 20th right now. It's kind of popping in my head. I wonder what their game plan here is at the moment, because now we officially at halfway here. You got to think in the back of your mind, you have to be in a certain spot by each lap, like so often laps. Like with 25 to go, I need to be here. By 10 to go, I need to be here. There's a big move by that teal truck that goes electively low there. 28 truck of McBride wanting to get low. But to keep my thought going there, though, you have to think in the back of your mind, when do I need to get going, and what lap do I need to buy this position, this position, this position, in order to have a chance to win this race? And for some of those trucks a little bit further back, like the Austin Mongols, the Dean Klavitz, the Alfred Denny's, the Caleb Eichlers, they got to have a plan here if they want to try to win this race. And right now, with the landing being kind of narrow and not really effective with the three-line action, can't be done, but not usually a big recipe for success here. It makes you wonder what their game plan is to try to get towards the front here as the clock begins to tick down here and pressure's on. Like we saw what Poznanski did to try to get track position, put the truck on the front row by staying out and seeing if he can race his way up here, maybe try to pit in sequence. So it makes me wonder what those trucks further back in the wall. Car in the wall, though. The Walmart's the scheme there. That big white one in the back, I believe, trying to figure out who it exactly was. Tristan Bear in the wall. 37 truck. They all take evasive action around him, but he hit that wall a pretty ton there. And he's probably going to have to come on down to fix that thing up, because that was a pretty lick.
That's sort of you're talking about like what can drivers do to sort of make positions. You have to wait for stuff like that to happen. You have to let other drivers make mistakes and sort of choose their own fate by choosing the lane they want to be in. You have to be a little bit preemptive, but you have to be patient as well. Patience is a big factor here, and we've seen a lot of it tonight so far, but obviously we're now in the second half of this race. The laps have ticked by very, very quick. So it's a very interesting circumstance. Obviously, this is something a little bit different. We saw, again, we had, I think, 8 cautions last night in the HTL Cup Series race, and that race had 100 more miles. Trouble. Pelletier Sharp's in the wall.
Yep, she is sideways in the wall right there. Again, maybe another commentator's curse there. First one we were riding on board Kelly Height. First incident, second incident here, talking about cautions, and a caution appears right in front of us. So we'll take a look here on the replay. You can see it is...
And Pelletier Sharp just drifts up, and there's nowhere. That's 21 out for Denny. Nowhere he can go on that.
Blake Henderson avoids it. You can see Russ trucks there, 88 truck, but then you can see Henderson hits one truck in the rear there.
Yeah, that's the 5. That's Richard Gonzalez.
Bingo. But yeah, Sharp there in the wall, just stuck hard. Few trucks, nowhere to go.
Yeah, we'll have to go back and kind of play that again, because there's a little bit more to that. And Pelletier Sharp just drifts up the track there.
Yeah.
Pelletier Sharp on the bottom.
She gets kind of a run here, and you're going to see she kind of gets close to Dean Clavitt here. Runs close.
Yeah, she's just trying to shoot a gap that's never open.
Yeah, that's not... Yeah, she was closing too quickly there. Then she's in the middle 3 wide. And then here she's thinking, can I go low, or am I clear or not? Maybe she didn't know she was clear. Maybe she just not checking out the mirrors here, and then ends up kind of just nowhere for the truck on the high side to go, and for Denny, and then, yeah, just got pinched. So anyway, back to live action here. This is a good time. Most of the field electing to come down here. Handful of trucks did stay out, though, for the track position game. Angel Santiago, Christopher Pendell, Mark Parkhurst, Blake Henderson, Caleb Eichler, Mike Slacone, and Richard Gonzalez all elect to stay on. Well, they pitted on lap 42. All came in actually for most of them. Some of them came for fuel only, some came for 4 tires, but all wanting the track position here to try to make something happen here. Jonathan Adams gets his lap back, and now Jonathan Adams, after the opening lap incident, is now officially back on the lead lap, giving us 31 trucks on the lead lap at the moment. Obviously, you can see some trucks still on pit lane fixing up their damage. We'll see if they can get out of pit lane before it's all said and done. So It's interesting. Again, sometimes during these like little pauses of silence, it's usually in a situation where you listen to the bit of the radio chatter, at least from the commentator perspective. And with that 23 truck leading right now, it's always insightful to kind of hear what they're talking about. And right now, they're talking about the main sponsor of that 23 truck and Mango Pepsi and its availability of where it is or isn't available. So very interesting race-style comedy chatter under cautions, and it's shown in effect. But no time much for that, though, as we are going to get ready for racing again. Commodity going to go out the window here for a little bit as I was going to race up here. So it's going to be Santiago and Pendel, row number 1. The PepsiCo products taking the front row, with Parkhurst and Henderson, row 2. Eichler and Saccone, row 3. Rodriguez and Hagen, row 4. And Clavitt and Wygant, row 5. So that will be the first 5 rows here. Looking to try to make something happen. And one more thing, kind of listening to chatter. Remember after what happened with Pendel and his TV getting turned off here, you can hear a little bit of the chatter, making sure that doesn't happen twice here, especially with him leading, or at least in the front row here in Atlanta. So anyway, things you love to hear in these little broadcasts and chatters always bring a smile to my face. But anyway, pace truck going to pull off here. It's going to be Santiago and Pendel. Santiago's control when the flag turns green in the restart zone, and he will get us back going here. So green flag is out. And away we go. And right there, inside line, kind of left some space there for Henderson to get down. So Henderson was able to get low there. Now Pendel, only truck really on the high side at the moment. Calverley is coming, but not at the moment right now, as he'll have to get lined up here. A few trucks taking evasive action here. Clavitt gonna get sent down here. All fan out successfully. Clavitt was in a 3 wide situation heading to 3. I almost sensed chaos, but luckily they all keep pointing in the right direction. There's Clavitt buried in the bit of the middle of the pack here. And for a few trucks, this is the first time they've been in like the hornet's nest here. For John Hagen, first time he's been lower than 3rd almost all night, or sorry, 5th, I should say, all night. Kind of a bit of the squirrels here, and that can usually bring chaos if you don't really expect being in the situation of chaos. Same thing with Blauer, same thing with a few others, but to fan out here, Santiago will lead that lap. But oh, looking at that. That red and white truck there got a little loose. I think it was Eichler, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, it's not Eichler. It is Saccone. Very loose there. As you can see, this inside line charging up here. Again, you're seeing the effects of drivers that have taken no tires, the 2 tires, the 4 tires. And you can just see the effects of how they are planted through these corners here. We'll ride on board here with the LA Night Machine of Blake Henderson right there. Parker's trying to get it. We have a caution. Hagen is around. Hagen is trying to save it. Hagen not going to save it. He is around. And he got a little bump from Clavitt. There you'll see the onboard shot of the 81. Saccone also involved there, along with a few other trucks. Like I was kind of hinting at earlier with being in the squirrels, looks like it kind of, the squirrels have found the nest, if you will. And Hagen was involved at the very least. So we'll take a look at the replay here, and you already can see a bit of an effect there. Basically, Wygant also involved here. I think Clavitt gave him a bump, is what I've heard. Keep an eye on that blue and white truck and that bright green machine here. We'll slow it down right coming into 1 here. Nice little circle there. Thank you, Carmen. It'll give us a good indicator of where we're looking for here. So we'll slow it down here. You can see Clavitt going a bit low here on the apron, and right there it gets on the corner panel of Hagen. And then Clavitt gets a little bump from behind from the 3 of height, and now 3 trucks are basically sideways. I think Hagen almost has it saved here, and you can see other trucks already not as saved. Hagen cannot keep it point in the right direction. 38 truck in the wall. And at this point, it's a mad scramble to try to avoid it. And boom, the 38 truck hits the 81's engine block there. Gives it a nice old tap. So good handful of trucks are involved. And that'll be our 4th caution of the night. Top 11 electing to stay out here. Everyone else coming on in for service, whether it's for fuel, tires, or damage repair. But top 11 will stay out. This field gets bunched up here. Anyway, though, we'll do this. This is Kevin Young. We're joined here with Carmen, Sienna. This is the HTL Hammer Down Truck Series for the Atlanta 150 here on ABN 1. Hope you're enjoying the show so far here tonight on this Tuesday evening. Glad you could join in for the stream here. And hopefully you enjoy the rest of the finish here. Is well over halfway here, coming up to 3/4 of the way done. This is shaping up to be a great fit race here right now. As you can tell, plate races are to a degree, you're going to shake up for a great finish. Taking a look at the chat here as well. Some people are bringing up some good points. Obviously, someone rooting for Callie. Obviously, Callie being in the accident, not too thrilled about that. And at the same point here, Commando Griff kind of pointing out some, like that Bush truck was very sideways. At the very least, looking like it's almost on a controller, if you will. Michael Saccone is the driver in question he's referring to. And I've been seeing that a lot. That's why I've made a lot of these reaction kind of things, because when you look in a corner, you see 2 trucks almost sideways through a corner, and you don't think it's going to work out, and yet somehow it does, until eventually it doesn't. But at the very least, it holds out. So anyway, field's going to get bunched up here. It's going to be on Santiago's control. So it's going to be Santiago and Rodriguez, row 1. Henderson and Wygant, row 2. Gaiman and Poznansky, row 3. Jones and Thompson, row 4. Stefan Oberstadt, and Greg Pillar, row 5. With Smeal, Patrick Oberstadt, Mark Parkers, Caleb Eichler, and Michael Saccone rounding out your top 15. 36 laps to go here. 4 cautions have conspired with 10 caution laps and 12 lead changes. So last time we checked in at the 1/4 mark, we were at 6. So for lead changes, so we've doubled. Weirdly, we've doubled cautions, lead changes, and not per se caution laps. I think that was only 4. So, but put a ×2 multiplier on almost all of that, and even the laps, you could say, as we have gone so far in this race. So pace truck going to pull off here. Going to be on Santiago's control. Green flag is out. And away we go. And Santiago did not get going. Henderson had to push that truck there. And you can see the effect as cars begin to fan in and out here, fighting for lines. Poznansky going to go low there, jump to the low line, leaving that 9 truck all alone on the high line. Cavalry is coming. Looks like one truck's going to jump high here. It's not Pacey Wygen, it's Byron Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
CCR cars have gotten there.
Yep, I know someone in the chat's pretty happy about seeing that right now. Those trucks up towards the front. As Jones looking to maybe try to get around Rodriguez.
Jones getting way too greedy there. Not where you want to be, on the very far outside lane with no support.
Yeah, he'll be able to slot in here. Has a bit of a cushion here, the 88 truck of Oberstadt. So be able to slot back in by, he was trying maybe to make a move, so you can see right there, Pacey went up, so he was probably thinking to try to get clear of Rodriguez, jump in line, and then those 2 trucks will be unified on the high side. But at the very least, he's going to have to hold on, at least for now, to make that move happen. But Joel's got to be a bit careful, because if he shows a bit of weakness, they may try to sucker hold.
Outside lane split up momentum now, with Wygen going to the outside lane at Santiago and Henderson on the inside. Teammates there for Tombstone Motorsports. CCR on the outside lane with Ascent in the middle. Also keeping on the 88 truck, Steven Oberstadt not far away from this group in the lead. Oberstadt 4th in line on the outside lane. It is Gaiman and Poznansky on the inside. That's your first 8 trucks.
Yep.
And they are side by side. They are level as you can get.
Yeah. And kind of looking through where a lot of these trucks started, we got Santiago, who did start in the top 5. We got Blake Harrison up 14 from where he started. Joel Rodriguez up 7 from where he started. Byron Jones up 10. Poznansky up 23 from where he started. He is one of the biggest movers of the race in that 41 truck. So a lot of drivers I would say maybe not much of, but at the very least trucks that have been in the back a bit now, getting their chance to shine up front. Although Byron Jones got pushed high there a little bit, and he ends up losing a couple spots here. So now he's going to be fifth truck in line on the outside line. So again, maybe a bit too greedy of the 48, maybe just went up the road just a tad. Now from being in about 6th position, now going to end up being just barely inside the top 10. Lap dead led by Santiago by a hair, but Wygant gonna have the charge here. And look at Byron Jones again. He really wants to make that high line work. He really wants to make that 3rd line work here. You can just see him basically putting a pin and a paperclip between the wall. Just trying something here. Maybe trying to figure out what can and can't be done, because you know when crunch time comes, someone's going to try to make that 3rd line work. And he's maybe trying to figure out if he can be the one that does it. Ooh, Blake Henderson just a little loose there. Still just a tad. We'll get it fixed. But
yeah, he's pushing it as much as he can right now on that inside lane, trying to get Santiago clear once again. But Wygant and Rodriguez just hooked up just a little bit smoother. Santiago moved up there towards Wygant.
Yeah, and that's a bit of a hopeless feeling when you feel like you're giving it your all, and for some reason the truck ahead's not going. And sometimes you're just not a lead truck. Some drivers are better pushers, some are better leaders, and some are a bit of both. And Henderson just doing what he can and try to keep that 23 truck ahead, because at the very least it's kind of his ride or die at the moment. He's got no other choice. So he's got no real hole on the outside, so he's just gonna have to try to hang on here. And I feel like if he gets the 23 ahead, he may try to push the high line here, but right now he's kind of just stuck low in a box. So he's just gonna have to try to hang on here and see what he can do.
That's 72 of 98. We're rushing towards the 3/4 mark on lap 74.
Yeah, right there. Almost came to blows, Rodriguez and Henderson.
Yeah. You can tell that the giving is over. It is about taking position now, because the leaders that time were hip checking each other a little bit entering turn 3. Santiago leads the inside lane, that blue and orange machine. It's Wygant in the 00 leading the race from the outside lane. And the outside lane trying to crowd down now. I have a feeling that we're about to see a really big crash in front of the field down.
Maybe. Santiago is kind of saying to Henderson, kind of just saying, look, tires beginning to go. Be careful a little bit. But with laps, it's squatting off the pot, or it's getting hot in the kitchen. You got to stay or you got to leave. You're at a point where there's no give or take anymore. If you're not comfortable up there, you're not going to be comfortable anywhere right now. You can see the big check up there, and that's going to allow Wygant to come low, and now he'll have control. Henderson clipping the apron there. The thing was sideways for a good second.
He was pushing way too hard on Santiago, trying to make something happen that just wasn't going to. That outside lane right now is still just too strong. And
you're going to see 2 trucks come down, Wygant and Rodriguez. Well, Rodriguez now going to come down.
Rodriguez cleared himself on that one with Santiago, but Santiago's had space to let that happen. But yeah, Santiago and Henderson. Henderson was just trying too hard to force something that just wasn't there. Santiago gets right back to the inside of Rodriguez. Rodriguez feeling in for Eli Sasek. So Santiago back up to 2nd place. But they're all following Pacey Wygant right now, who moves back to the outside lane, and now we're back to status quo as what we were before. Santiago gets control of the inside lane again.
Not much changes there. All things change, all things stay the same. And now, again, Henderson, look at that. He's basically trying whatever he can do to push.
Check up in the back.
Oh, yeah, you are correct. Keep it clean, though.
That was
with the checkup
towards Eichler and further on down, Michael Ode. In that engine over its vicinity.
Yeah. Going back quickly to take a peek at that now, but not much of an effect.
Side by side.
on the
Oh,
front.
Henderson just turned Santiago. How did they save that? They're still trying to save it.
Oh,
And there they go around finally.
Yeah. Not much as saving.
And Henderson gets turned around there for his own efforts.
Ooh.
Again, Henderson just pushing way too hard to try to make something happen. This wasn't there.
So yeah, we'll take a look at the replay when we get a second here. But you were correct, Carmen. You said something was going to happen up front, and, well, it did.
I've seen a thing like that before.
You've been around the circle more than once.
A little bit.
So
only for a little over 3 years. Yeah, we'll look here because, again, it's Santiago and Henderson that is where this all starts. Henderson's right on the bumper of Santiago the entire time. And it's so hard to do. Like, you can see already right here, right on board with Henderson. There's just nothing that Santiago can do at this point because Henderson is just trying to push. And obviously everything kind of goes rough there. There's Josh Gaiman, the 51, Henderson, the 25, obviously, just trying to save it. Trying to see who he gets turned by.
And that's out for that angle.
Yeah, it was one of the silver. I don't know if it was McBride or if or who
I don't think it was
there.
McBride.
Because he gets turned here. We'll see if we can sort of just drop back here.
Oh, well, there's Gaiman. That's not
the who is question. This? Yeah, this is interesting because this is Poznanski.
It is, but Poznanski's ahead of the incident.
No,
he's right there.
Yep, he is. It is Poznanski that turns Henderson there at the end, as Henderson is still trying to save his truck. Henderson on pit lane now.
Yep. So back to live action. Ryan Pennell, hometown boy, he is going to take the lead here, not coming in, along with Austin Mongold. We saw Mongold try that last week to not much good success, but obviously that was with less than 5 to go here. Now, with 21 to go, he'll stay out along with Ryan Pennell. Then it's going to be the Oberstadt brothers, 3 and 4, and then Mark Parker's top 5 here. So very odd strategies. Parker's actually will come on in this time by. So yeah, see how this all plays. But Pennell and Mongold wanting track position, wanting clean air, sense that they have a chance to take something up here. They're going to take the front here and try to make something happen. Looking through the field here, we got Mongold, Pennell, Patrick Oberstadt, and Stefan Oberstadt, Joel Rodriguez, Pacey Wygen, Alfred Denny, Greg Pillar, John Smeal, Zach McBride, your top 10, with Adams, Jones, Height, Pendell, and Gaiman, your top 15 here. What will, even though not there are old tires, because even looking at it right now, when Mongold and Pennell pitted on 61-62, it was fuel only. First car to take tires under the last stop would have been Patrick Oberstadt, who took 2 tires. And then you got fresh tires for Rodriguez and Wygen. So first or 2 rows there on... First row is on no tires, very old tires. Second row is on 2 tires from the previous pit stop. And then most of the field behind them are on 4 or 2, depending on if they want a track position. We'll see how those tires play out here. Pace truck going to take the hard left into the pit lane. Going to be on Ryan Pennell's control. Green flag is out. And right there you can see the effects, but we're underway. As you can see Pennell kind of fight that car to try to get going. He will get it going though. Now the question is, what can the Chargers do here? You got 3 very similar sponsored cars with slightly different variations of paint scheme, Mossy Oak schemes here, all trying to get to the front here.
Yeah, very familiar group at the front. Carolina Beagle Racing was denied by 8 milliseconds last time out, last night. Austin Mongold gets to the front. Oberstadt second. Ryan Pinnell in third.
Yep, Mongold, Patrick Oberstadt. They can come down if they wish. They do have the opening.
They're going to let not to. A lot of the trucks move to the outside lane right now.
Yep, fanning out here.
Ryan Pinnell, and that is the 88 of Steven Oberstadt.
Yep.
On the inside lane, and it's kind of just those two trucks on their own right now, trying to hold up the, trying to hold the fort, trying to do what Santiago and Henderson couldn't do.
Yep, and they got Greg Pillar coming to join the cavalry along with John Smeal. So they're pushing up to the front. Then you got the teal machine of Zach McBride and Byron Jones making up that next line.
Caution's out. We're trying to figure out what happened here.
81. John Hagen.
Oh no, not again.
Ooh. Though he wasn't happy about something on the last caution. We'll see what exactly happened here.
Yeah, this I caught the back of my eye just a little bit. And it gets a little bit worse here. They're already kind of scrambling. They're 3 wide. They somehow saved it there. But Henderson tags Hagen. Hagen tags the wall. And around goes to 81 once again. And just like that, his race once again at Atlanta ends up a lot more sour. It's Austin Mongold leading the way.
I think there's some other chaos that just happened there. Listen to radio comms. Trying to see what's actually happening.
Looks like an issue with Casey Ellis.
Maybe.
Because Casey Ellis just towed.
Yeah. I think it was something to do with the caution in question, but yeah, Casey Ellis I think got a slight clip in that, but yeah, very weird. So anyway, though, back to live action here. Casey Ellis actually is going to get their lap back here, as now they're officially on. Actually, they're still on the lead lap, my mistake, but they are going to stand the lead lap here as they will now leave pit lane. So it's going to be, as you'll see now, the truck getting the lap back there on the high side here. That's going to be the 60 truck of David Pugh. They will get the lap back, and they will now officially be on the lead lap, giving us 31 trucks on the lead lap at the moment here, with Richard O'Day being the last one on said lead. Actually, he's 1 down, my mistake. So 30 trucks on the lead lap. Richard O'Day's 2 down. And Richard O'Day, Tristan Bauer, and James Wright, both 2 and 3 downs respectively, along with Michael Ciccone, who is more laps down that, but all trucks still running. Only 1 truck out of this race still is Kevin Feemster. So 30 trucks on lead lap, 34 trucks still running with 35 entries here. Kevin Feemster only retirement. So the field gets about to get bunched up here next time by here. Mongold going to probably have choice here of in and out, inside line or outside line. And also may have choice of in and out if he wants it, if he wins. But regardless of that, though, Mongold will have choice. And it's all crucial here with 15 to go here. Time's ticking down. You want to make sure you pick this right, and he'll go low. Pinnell will go high. So it's going to be Mongold, Pinnell, then the Oberstadt brothers again making up the second row. Rodriguez and Alfred Denny, Pacey Wygen and Pillar, Greg Pillar to be specific, John Smeal and John Adams. Jonathan Adams back inside the top 10 here. After that opening lap, he's been fighting to try to get back on the lead lap, and he's finally gotten back on the lead lap and now got that truck back in the top 10 here. What a long way to get back in the top 10. If he can pull this off here, it's going to probably be all smiles in that A3 truck. Finishing up the top 15, we got Zach McBride, Christopher Pendell, Byron Jones, Bobby Blowers, and Josh Gaiman making up the last 5 there. As we are going to get going here.
It's going to be a very interesting restart here.
It's going to be on Mongold's control. Green flag is out. And away we go again. 13 laps to go here. They stay green. It could go by in a flash. Outside line does not getting going, though, with Ryan Pennell. Will anyone elect to try to pop up here in that first two to try to maybe take a line here? Truck down low. That's Greg Pillar.
Oh, that was a reckless move there.
Yeah, and he gets right into Jonathan Adams. Oh, you hate to see it. Man climbed his way back up and just gets kicked in the teeth again.
Yeah, this is just reckless here.
Richard Giles also involved as well. But we'll take a look here again. You'll just see.
You can't do what Greg Pillar is about to do. You can't just do. Now, Wygen doesn't make this easy.
No.
But Pillar should know better at this point. He just rejoins right in front.
A Smeal, then nowhere to go. Hooks Pillar right into Jonathan Adams.
Yeah, that you got to know better than that. You got to be safer than that, and that's just reckless.
Nope, I can 100% agree with you on that one. I get it's 13 to go, but you got to be considerate of your other driver there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's just, that's silly.
So anyway, though, back to live action here. 12 to go here. When we get going, we'll probably be around 10 laps to go. Obviously, I don't think many trucks are going to elect to pit here, as this is the track position game. Unless you're further in the back, you may elect to pit to try to maybe get some fresh tires on it, try something different, fix damage. But if you're up front, you're not pitting here. You're riding this out until the tires fall off or fuel runs out.
For everyone tuning in, we're coming to the last 10 laps here in Atlanta in regulation. It's the Atlanta 150 for the HTL Hammer Down Truck Series. We appreciate you spending your Tuesday evening with us here on ABN Esports 1. Nothing going on tomorrow, but on Thanksgiving night, we bring back INRA 2003 action with our Indy 500. That's 9 p.m. on Thursday evening. And then we won't be back until Monday for the HTL Cup Series from Le Mans. So we hope everyone is having a good start of the holiday week. Got one more stream this week, and then we pick up business as usual next Monday. Streams Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday here on ABN and ABN Esports 1. It's Austin Mongold and Patrick Oberstadt leading the way. Ryan Pennell and Joel Rodriguez in third and fourth. Steven Oberstadt rounds out the top 5. Then it's Wygen, Denny, McBride, Smeal, and Byron Jones currently rounding out the top 10. 35 trucks took the start. And slowly we've had trucks whittle away as we come to 10 laps to go. 10 laps to go here as we cross the line. 7 cautions. 16 laps of caution. 17 lead changes though. So not a bad effort there on the lead changes. Again, phenomenal week so far. HTL's been showing up and showing out. Yeah, some racing still to do. Last caution, an incident caused by Greg Pillar, turning himself across the nose of John Smeal and into the path of Jonathan Adams. Double file restart here. It's teammates on the front row for Carolina Beagle Racing. 3 of their cars in the top 5.
Yeah. That's always an interesting situation, like we've seen throughout real life with Junior Motorsports and other manufacturers and teams. You have a lot of metaphorical bullets in the gun, but can those trucks stay up there? It's going to be the interesting thought here. Obviously, when chips are down, drivers get racy, you're going to show your teammates a little bit more respect. You'll show your average other competitor. But at the same point, you all want the same trophy and the same check and the same, well, virtual check and the same winner to try to get that win. So Pace Truck going to pull off here. No, coming to pull off, I should say. As it does that, it's going to be on Austin Mongold's control. Green flag is out. And away we go. Great restart from the 38 truck. And it looks like a little bit of pandemonium on the high side. They're going to cause a bit of a checkup.
Patrick Overstat did not have a great restart there. And Wygen had to go completely down to the bottom lane to try to make something happen. That's not where he wanted to be. He was hoping that outside lane would make some moves happen. Mongold moved back to the outside lane. Ryan Pinnell to the inside lane and got a lot of help from Steven Overstat.
Yeah, charge coming.
Can Ryan Pinnell grab a win at home?
Still a long way to go here. A lot of laps left, a lot of miles too, you could say. Easily could change with 8 to go. You're looking at least, the very least, 4 minutes if it stays green.
Side by side, all the way down, at least 12 rows. Ryan Pinnell trying to lead the way. Mongold on the outside. Overstat making up the entire second row between these columns. Truck in the wall, Santiago.
Santiago, stay green.
Yeah, stay green, it's in the grass. Santiago tagged the wall, someone else went with him. But we're staying green, 7 laps to go. Again, Austin Mongold leads the outside lane in that 38. Ryan Pinnell from Good Hope, Georgia in the 18. Steven Overstat in the 88 following Pinnell. Patrick Overstat finished second last night.
Yep. Just let you know that other truck was Lily Frazier who was involved as well, but we stay green. 6 to go here. Outside line getting the charge at the moment.
Yeah, a little bit more help on that outside lane right now. Rodriguez third in line there. And then you have to look again, you have to look at the, I believe that's 28 of Zach McBride on the outside lane as well. For Stepping Stone Motorsports, that is the 28 of Zach McBride, who's got a little bit of war scars on his own. A little bit latency there, Ryan Pinnell.
Yeah, that's always sketchy, especially when push comes to shove here.
Yeah, it's so sketchy at the moment. Ryan Pinnell still led that lap over Austin Mongold. A lot of uncertainty. Car on the outside lane. That is the 94, Chris Pindell, 3 wide in the back.
One thing I wonder as well, though, is we're getting close to finish that third line. We saw a few trucks elect to try it. Byron Jones was trying it maybe 25 laps ago. He's currently 5th on the outside there. He's going to try it. I wouldn't be shocked to take something here with 5 to go here. Cross the line, Pinnell takes it by a fingernail. 4 to go.
Very tight. Ryan Pinnell, one-time winner in the ARCS Saturday Night Showdown Series, 1 Daytona. He has never won at his home track. Trying to break that streak tonight. Austin Mongold would love to deny him and get his first career win. And what a scene if he can get it to happen. Overstat really tight at 3 and 4. He's going to be able to help Ryan Pinnell here. Mongold across the line.
Yeah, it's going to lose Ryan Pinnell. A lot of momentum here. Austin Mongold, remember, was in a spot where he was looking to get a second place last week in Charlotte, I should say, and then stayed out on old tires and just couldn't make it happen. So Mongold looking to try to thing. A big pass in the back, though. A few trucks taking evasive action. You can see there a few on the apron. We stay green. AC Wygen goes to the high side there. He's going to dip the inside line. Pinnell could lose that inside line, could lose some momentum here. 3 to go.
Trouble. Who is that further back? Is that who we think it is?
51.
They stay green.
Yeah, we stay green.
That was, I believe that was Gaiman that was involved in that.
It was. I think Selena Thompson was involved as well. She's off the line, so I think she was also involved. That's going to cause less traffic
in the way here.
Look at the third line right there. You can see the CGR trucks trying to make something happen. Third line.
And that's not going to help the inside lane. It's not going to help the middle lane at all.
Because lap truck's going to try to stay here. Maybe should get off the surface. Lily Frazier will get off.
Gets off right at the tri-oval there. Ryan Pinnell leads that lap. 2.
White flag in the air.
Yeah, white flag. Final lap.
Oh, car around. That's a 51 at Gaiman. They're going to be wrecking in the back. We stay green at the moment. It's going to be more cars involved. Smeal, McBride, a few others. The pack's beginning to fall. It's going to come from these top 6 here. Which one of these 6 can bring home the victory? Coming out of 3 and 4. Mongold's got the charge. Can Pinnell charge back on the inside line? It's going to be a drag race to the line. Mongold's got the charge. Payoffs in the back. It's going to be Austin Mongold winning this race with Patrick Overstat second, Ryan Pinnell in third, Joel Rodriguez in fourth, and Stefan Overstat will come across the line, crashing it around. And Austin Mongold will take home the victory. Took the charge on the outside line, and that's going to be a win for Beagle Racing. Carolina Beagle Racing to say. People congratulating Austin right now. Austin, again, after coming home, trying to get a second place last week, stayed out. It took an extra week, but this win's probably going to feel just as sweet here as the Joel Rodriguez is going to come out and congratulate that 38 truck here and join him in the celebratory burnout here. See, we'll burn it down. You feel for Patrick Oberstadt, though. Second last night, second here tonight. Obviously, with his teammate winning this race, I think it is a little more of a smoother incident here, as you'll. But Austin Mongold, Patrick Oberstadt, Ryan Pinnell, they're probably very excited to join us for an interview. So do not go away. We'll hear from them shortly. As there goes the engine.
Yeah, phenomenal job there for Austin Mongold, race winner here tonight. Wild stuff here this evening.
One more thing is someone in the chat is thinking Bobby Blowers had a good wreck avoidance there that maybe we should keep an eye on after the interview. So we'll see if we can get a look at that if we can. But first, we do got the interviews here as they all file in the waiting room.
Start off with third place, Ryan Pinnell. So close to a win at his home track. Ends up having to settle for third place here tonight. Ryan, this is Carmen from the ABN booth. You got a copy?
I got you.
Alrighty. 7 laps led from 24th on the grid to a podium finish tonight at your home track. Walk us through it. Can't be I can't see you be too upset because it's an all ARCS podium here on Tuesday night.
Yeah, it was a good race. You know, me and Austin and Patrick, we kind of knew we were going to try and work together at the end. And then, you know, pretty much when the white flag came out, we were all on our own. And Austin just had Patrick just pushing him. I mean, Patrick was, you know, very selfless. I mean, he pushed Austin to that win. And unfortunately, everybody behind me on the inside line tried to, you know, push it 3-4 wide coming to the line. So I just lost all momentum, so I couldn't keep up with Austin. But great win to Austin and a good finish to Patrick. And Steven back there capping out the top 5. So 4 out of the top 5 for Rubbin Racing and Carolina Beagle Racing. Pretty good finish. But yeah, it's been under the weather last weekend and for my birthday, which was actually Sunday. So feels good to be feeling halfway decent again and come home in third. I'll take it any day of the week.
Obviously, a phenomenal job here for you for that 18 crew. Obviously, a wild last couple months for you this season. You know, you look at this race again, kind of just running here, these trucks and these plate tracks, they kind of just cater to you a little bit. You won Daytona in the SNS series to kick off the season. They're on Saturday nights, and obviously coming back here and doing this again tonight. What is it about these plate tracks that just make you so much more poised? It seems like you're always a contender at these plate tracks now.
Yeah, it's just patience. I mean, it's just, you know, you have, especially in these races, you have probably 25 to 35% of these drivers that are just over the top aggressive, and it usually, you know, bites them in the butt early on. So we were just kind of riding around, and that's usually what I do in most super speedway races, and that's exactly what we did tonight. I knew that I could make it on fuel, so when the entire field came down pit road, I stayed out. It was going to be close on fuel, but I knew that was not the last caution. So me and Mongold actually stayed out there. When everybody else pitted, we were 1-2. And like I said, from that point, it was just under caution, saving fuel. And, you know, I knew I had a bunch of teammates around me, so I wasn't really worried about getting turned. So it ended up working out really well for our crew. I hate that I'm running a Chevrolet. That's like against my religion, but John Smeal put together an awesome paint scheme for me for this series. I hate it's a Chevrolet and not an F-150.
Well, you did a phenomenal job tonight, obviously, in that bow tie here this evening. Obviously, we get to see you again next week. We got a lot of racing coming up here after the holiday. But before we let you go and let you get ready for Thanksgiving, if there's anyone to shout out and say thank you to, the floor is yours. Congrats again on another podium on a plate track, this time in your home track here in Atlanta.
Absolutely. I don't even know if it can be considered my home track anymore now that I moved to Michigan. But yeah, my blood runs through Georgia, so it'll always be my home track. But yeah, just shout out to you and Kevin for calling all these races. Shout out to Smeal for putting me on his truck team and putting together some awesome paint schemes. Austin and Patrick and Steven Oberstadt, both of them just did a phenomenal job as teammates to help us make sure that one of us at least got the win tonight, and that was key. So it was just a really good all-around race. Shout out to Kinsey for letting me stay up late during the week and do these fake races. It's always fun to do. So we'll regroup and come back next week and see if we can't have another good finish.
Absolutely. It sounds like a game plan. Ryan Pennell, third place finish here at Atlanta for the Rubman Racing team, and obviously for the Arcs Contingency, leading that all podium here tonight. Ryan, enjoy it, and obviously we hope to see you again next week.
Thank y'all.
That was Ryan Pennell, third place finish here tonight for that truck. We'll move on. We'll move on to Patrick Oberstadt here in just a moment. Second place for him once again. Imagine just how his race turned out last night. A little bit cleaner tonight for him. Pretty well settled and determined there, but a good result once again for that 8 crew. Patrick, this is Carmen from the ABN booth. Do you get a copy?
Got it.
What a drive. Phenomenal effort here tonight for the Carolina Beagle crew. 1-2 for the team. Obviously, 3 cars in the top 5. Walk us through it on your end. This track, so close but so far away. Another second place finish to round out your week here before Thanksgiving.
Yeah, to begin, I was like, complete opposite of the Cup race. I was like, I'm just going to try to stay up at the front, try not to get any wrecks, which I lucked out, surprisingly. But, and coming to the white, I just figured I'm just going to push Austin because I didn't want to wreck us, 1. And 2, I was fine with the second place finish coming behind a teammate. So, yeah, that's just how it went. And I'm just happy my brother was able to up there and everyone. Ryan, he was smart. Somehow got to do a 2-stop. I don't know how. I couldn't have done that. But, yeah, that's how the race was. And I don't know. It was fun.
It's something, we talk about, with Ryan, obviously we talked about there just a minute ago, he's good at these plate tracks. You've doubled down on that a little bit. Obviously, you've won. Obviously, you won in these trucks at a plate race. Now you've, in 2 completely different vehicles, you've come around and did second place finishes, doing 2 completely different strategies too. It wasn't like you did the same approach twice. What is it about this racing for you that makes this race makes the consistency come easy for you? Because you make it look easy. I think I've seen you on podium at these types of races more than I've seen you not. I can't recall. I think maybe 1 plate race I didn't see you on the podium so far this year. What is it about these races that just make it easy for you to, I guess, at least have that confidence to be in the podium positions and to make this stuff work?
Yeah, just having great teammates, like just knowing someone's always going to be around you and be able to push, and having someone to push that can hold their line and keep it straight. But I don't know, I guess they just came easy to me, and I just like going fast and pushing people and just not having to save tire. I'm not really the best at that, so.
It worked out well tonight here. Obviously, another second place finish for you. I don't think you led any laps. It doesn't look like it, but started this race down in 19th position and never looked back from there. Did a phenomenal job getting up to the front of the field and staying up there, and obviously helping Austin Mongold get his first win in 2023. We'll talk to him in a moment, but before you get all that out of the way, if there's anyone to shout and say thank you to, Patrick, the floor is yours. Congrats again on another podium, this time here in the Truck Series at Atlanta.
Thank you. First off, I'd like to thank my brother for giving me this opportunity again, and second, Smeal for the awesome games, and I'd like to thank all my teammates, Austin, Ryan. Too bad Feem, I felt bad for him, he got out, but wish Jeremy was in. Gaiman was next to Gaiman. He was just a nice confidence in the chat. And then Thrills helping me out, spotting after his race sadly got done. I'd like to thank my girlfriend watching at home again, and thank you to you guys for putting it on so she could actually watch. And yeah, that's about it.
Well, Patrick, you made this week look easy. 2 second-place finishes in the Cup Series and the Truck Series here at Atlanta. Again, enjoy the podium, enjoy both of them, and hopefully we get to see you again very soon next week.
All right, thank you.
That was Patrick Oberstadt, second place finisher here tonight. Now we get to talk to somebody that we've not talked to under any circumstances, podium or otherwise. Austin Mongold bringing home the first career win for himself and for Carolina Beagle Racing here tonight. A phenomenal effort across the board for the 38 truck. Austin, this is Carmen from the ABN booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you guys. How you guys doing tonight?
I don't think we were doing much better than you could be right now. First career win, and the first career win for the team. 14 laps led, and what a team effort it was tonight to make it happen. Walk us through it on your perspective, because it's one of these races that you either have it all put together or you don't, and you got it all put together at the right time at the very end of that. Walk us through it on your perspective. It had to be a very tense moment for you.
Yeah, well, when I stayed out there, I saw that it was 4 of us lining up the first 2 rows, and I thought, all right, control both lanes, so that way one of us will win this race. And I was kind of orchestrating that a little bit. And yeah, it all worked out. I mean, Patrick and Ryan, I would say they're pretty smart people, so you can trust them to not screw things up. And it worked out good for us because first, second, fifth, can't go wrong with that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. No, obviously a phenomenal effort for you, and obviously kind of puts a cherry on top. Obviously, not been a great season for you. Obviously, coming to HTL, and it's one of those situations where a lot of growing pains for you walking into this, and obviously getting a race win here at Atlanta. Sort of playing the spoiler, but also being consistently up near the front. Obviously, you started this race in 15th, led 14 laps. Obviously, how much was this? Does this do for you, just as far as a confidence boost going into the rest of the season here, knowing that you finally got your race win here, and now you've shown that you can do this. What does that do confidence-wise for you?
Oh, I cannot stress this enough. It's huge. Because if I'm not doing too hot in points right now, but you get well enough in points, maybe somehow squeak out another win, I can get the wild card spot and see if I could play spoiler here in the chase. But I mean, especially after last week, felt like I could have had top 3 at least, but I kind of screwed the pooch on that. But no, I mean, it's a huge confidence booster, and hopefully it's what I need to get the season back on track after the not so hot start by me this season.
Well, I mean, you've got opportunities to do this again. You've shown that you've got the plate race acumen. Obviously, you're on a team that is phenomenal at the plate racing. Pocono up next, then you got Rockingham, but most importantly, you've got Talladega in the regular season as well coming up here at near the end of the season. So some opportunities for that 38 truck to possibly get itself into the chase here later on this season. A phenomenal job and a phenomenal first step to making that happen tonight, winning here at Atlanta. We'll let you celebrate with your team, though, and obviously get ready for Thanksgiving. What a way to celebrate the start of the holiday season than with a race win here. But before we let you go on and celebrate, if anyone to shout out and say thank you to, the floor is yours. Congratulations on your first career win in HTL, and hopefully the first of many here.
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to Steven Oberstadt. He's the one that kind of gave me this opportunity by putting the team together, and then obviously shout out to Ryan, and most importantly Patrick, because he's the one that pushed me to the win and gave me the win in first place. So he's got some help coming. Talladega. You know, if I'm not gonna win the race, I'm gonna make damn sure that he's gonna win. But give a shout out to Jonathan Adams too for helping us a little bit after he got wrecked out. You know, it's unfortunate for him. He's also pretty fast. He's got a win coming himself. But and shout out to you guys too for you know, broadcasting this every week. It goes a long way. And yeah, that's it.
Well, you get to look back on this one really fondly. Austin Mongold, race winner here for the first time here at Atlanta. 14 laps led, started this race 15th, and led them all across to our finish line. Austin, enjoy the race win, enjoy your holiday, and hopefully get to see you back in victory lane soon.
Thanks. You guys enjoy your holiday as well.
Absolutely. Have a good one.
Thanks, you too.
That was Austin Mongold, race winner here tonight. A phenomenal effort for the 38 crew and for Carolina Beagle Racing, breaking through and getting a 1-2 tonight. 3 cars in the top 5 with Oberstadt finishing 5th. We'll walk through the full finishing order here tonight. A phenomenal effort for the crew altogether. Austin Mongold with the race win over Patrick Oberstadt and Ryan Pinnell. Joel Rodriguez rounds out the top 4. Oberstadt 5th. Then it's Alfred Denny, Byron Jones, Bobby Blowers, Pacey Wygant in the top 9. Then Mark Parkhurst in the top 10. A phenomenal showing in the top 10. Some interesting names in that top 10 with how everything stacked up here tonight.
Yeah, he had a lot of trucks there, survived the chaos and made it work and got the finish they need to finish. Moving third down the order, we got Caleb Eichler 11th, Alyssa Pelletier-Sharps 12th, Dean Clavitt 13th, Selena Thompson 14th, Richard Gonzalez around at the top 15, Callie Height, Josh Gaiman, Scott Poznansky, Jonathan Smeal, and David Pugh will round out the top 20. Moving further down the order, we got Casey Ellis, Caleb Carter, Christopher Pendell, Blake Henderson, Angel Santiago, and John Hagan, the last of the drivers to finish on the lead lap. Then we got Zach McBride, who was involved in that last lap incident, and Lily Frazier also came into contact with Angel Santiago, both finishing 1 down along with Richard O'Day, and Tristan Bayer will finish 3 down in 30th. Then James Wright also 3 down in 30th, and then you got Greg Pillars, Jonathan Adams, Michael Saccone, and Kevin Feemster all retiring from this race, finishing 32nd, 33rd, 34th, and 35th, respectively. So that is going to do it for that here at Atlanta. Great race all throughout. Always fun to call a good old-fashioned plate race. Next week, as we alluded to, it is going to be, well, tomorrow. We'll start with tomorrow first, then we'll move on. Tomorrow is going to be NR 2003 here on ABN's Family Networks, ABN1, I should say. Thursday, obviously, Thanksgiving is off. Saturday, the Saturday Night Showdown, and on that in regard as well. And then Monday, the HTL Cup Series will go to Le Mans for their race. And then on Tuesday, on ABN2, so make note of that, it is going to be Pocono for the HTL Truck Series. They'll be going to the Tricky Triangle in the hills of Pennsylvania for, Poconos, I should say. It should be a great showing there as well. But that is going to do it for here tonight in Atlanta. Great racing's out. Hopefully you enjoyed the broadcast, and hopefully we may see you here next week or throughout the rest of this week here on the ABN Family Networks. But for us, myself, Kevin Young, and Carmen Sienna, it's been a great pleasure. So take care and good night.